Better track down your link cables and some AA's.
Whoa.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 handheld gaming devices.
Here we go.
For this list, we had to add some stipulations. Every entry must have been designed as a gaming device first, so you won't find any smartphones on this list. Additionally, re-releases such as the PSP Go or Game Boy Pocket aren't included with the original version of their handheld to keep it fair. That being said, let's get on with our first pick. Number 10, the Nvidia Shield. Hitting the market in 2013, the Shield offers PC gamers the luxury of streaming their games over Wi-Fi, freeing them from their computer chairs and allowing them the freedom to use other chairs in the house.
I'm like 30 feet from my apartment right now, and I'm playing Metro!
HD graphics, a large catalog of Android titles, and some impressively faithful ports make the Shield one of the most advanced handheld devices ever created. Number 9. Nintendo Game & Watch series.
Game Watch. Game Watch. Game Watch.
The title says it all, folks. The first video game devices developed by toy maker Nintendo. Each device played one game and also functioned as a watch.
They tell you the score and even the time. Their pocket power, their Game & Watch, 14 in all, only from Nintendo!
Originally inspired by designer Genpei Yokoi when he witnessed a grown man playing with a calculator on the train. This series of devices were hugely popular once upon a time.
Game Watch Multi-Screen.
Nearly 25 different games were released through different system variations, some of which broke ground on dual-screen display, a concept that Nintendo would later revisit decades later. Number 8. The PlayStation Vita.
What does Vita mean? Vita means life.
Vita is a remarkable handheld, despite its lagging popularity in the market. With innovative controls and impressive hardware, the Vita presents itself as a luxury handheld. The first portable game console to have true 1080p HD graphics, the Vita is nothing short of breathtaking in its performance.
And remember, the screen you're watching doesn't do it justice. You have to see this on the 5-inch OLED to appreciate how vibrant everything really is.
With a handful of memorable original titles and a wide catalog of indie games available, there's plenty to play on the Vita, despite what you may have heard. Combine all this with the SharePlay second screen feature for the PS4, and it's the closest thing you can get to a home console on the go. Number 7. SNK Neo Geo Pocket Color.
Is SNK's last game console, and it's the sequel to the original Neo Geo Pocket.
A limited North American release didn't stop this handheld from making its mark in gaming history. Fondly remembered as one of the first few devices to truly compete with the Game Boy's market dominance, the Pocket Color launched against the more widely known Game Boy Color, both in Japan and overseas. Hailed for having a solid color scheme with its arcade-inspired joystick, the Neo Geo is still remembered as a solid Game Boy alternative. It's a shame it didn't sell so well, as it had some great games and was even compatible with the equally doomed Dreamcast. Number 6. Sega Game Gear.
The full-color portable with over 150 games.
Inspired by the hardware for the popular Master System, the Game Gear was one of 2 portable consoles developed by Sega. The only console to be considered an actual competitor to the original Game Boy, the Game Gear lets Sega fans play on the go for the first time.
If you were colorblind and had an IQ less than 12, then you wouldn't care which portable you had.
With a full-color backlit screen and the ability to play Master System games on the go if you had an adapter, Sega sold 11 million units against very stiff competition. If only it didn't consume 6 AA's in 4 hours.
The Game Gear may not be the most practical portable game console these days because the battery life is terrible and the screen is hard to see, but it's still the Game Gear.
Number 5. Nintendo 3DS. Introduced in 2011, the successor to the DS now sported glasses-free 3D.
If you want, you can even turn off the 3D altogether. and what remains is a bright, crisp 2D display.
With a bump in processing power, Nintendo won praise for improving on the successful formula of the previous generation. Now also sporting an analog circle pad, an incredible gaming library, and backwards compatibility with the Nintendo DS games, the 3DS was an upgrade that gave you the old and the new. The budget-friendly 2DS was also a great alternative for kids, but the real gem of this generation was the vastly improved new 3DS, which gave you all of the 3D and none of the headache, quite literally. Number 4. Nintendo Game Boy Advance.
Hey, is that Spider-Man?
Game Boy Advance, more games, more fun.
This 32-bit console sold an astounding 81 million units over its life cycle. With performance comparable to the SNES, the Advance truly lived up to its name. With its backwards compatibility with Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, the GBA had a massive library with some of Nintendo's all-time greatest titles available on the go for the first time. Though the original was groundbreaking, the ante was truly upped with its evolution, the Game Boy Advance SP. Adding a backlight and the now signature clamshell design, the SP was really the star of the Advanced show.
There's a huge, enormous, gigantic library of software titles that you can play.
Number 3. Sony PlayStation Portable.
This is the Sega Game Gear or Atari Lynx of handheld game consoles for the mid to late 2000s.
The Vita owes a lot to this pick. Sony's first portable game console was a massive hit upon launch. With performance comparable to the PlayStation 2, Sony let their fans go mobile for the first time.
I'll just need a plan.
With many ports and entries from the home console franchises, the PSP sought to deliver the couch experience on the go, and largely succeeded.
Okay, move along, old man. You had me at hello, but you had to push it.
Aimed at a more mature audience, the PSP also had more M-rated games, like God of War, than the traditional handheld lineup usually offered.
We will be looking at a primary target of 18 to 34-year-old males, and those users more apt to embrace new technologies and products early on.
Number 2. Nintendo Game Boy.
Introducing Game Boy. It's portable, it's in stereo, and its games are interchangeable.
Taking on many competitors throughout its life, the Game Boy still stood above the rest. Kids and adults ran out to get one, helping Nintendo grab a foothold in the portable market that they still cling to today.
Game Boy from Nintendo.
Enhanced with the smaller Game Boy Pocket and brighter Game Boy Light in Japan, the success can truly be traced back to its universal appeal. The Landmark series Pokémon also debuted on the handheld and extended the aged system's lifespan up until the end of the millennium. More than 120 million lifetime unit sales is evidence enough that quite a few of us caught a bad case of Game Boy fever. Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Escape to a world of color for each and every Game Boy game.
Number 1. The Nintendo DS.
Here's a brand new Metroid game playing on Nintendo DS.
The perfect balance of technology, portability, and great games makes this titan a measuring stick of success.
Nintendogs are off the hook. I connect with other dog owners and train my own dog with my voice and touch.
Adding the second touchscreen to enhance controls and an even more interactive layer to their games, Nintendo captivated us all with its sturdy console.
Nintendo DS. Touching is good. Available in stores November 21st.
Plus, as Nintendo is wont to do, it was backwards compatible with the GBA, making early adopters all the more happy.
All of your favorite GBA games.
Preceding the DS Lite and the DSi, our top pick was massively influential in portable gaming. Its risky design paid off huge for the portable giant, selling a jaw-dropping 154 million units. The Nintendo DS is the best-selling portable of all time, and our easy pick for number 1.
In all, this machine truly is transformative. It changes how you connect to your games and to each other.
Do you agree with our list?
No. Game Watch.
What's your favorite portable console? For more top 10s on the go, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
It's just awesome.